Disneyland is a place for dreamers, built by the biggest dreamer of them all.
Eyes around the world are focused on these 160 acres here in Anaheim, California. This afternoon, Disneyland, the world's most fabulous kingdom, will be unveiled before an invitational world premiere, and you are guests. Today is a wonderful day, and all America is proud as we open Disneyland. In the heart of this man who has dreamed Disneyland into being. Nearest to Walt Disney's heart. To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
67 years now have passed since the citizens of Disneyland found their home. But the dream isn't over, and it continues every hour of every day around the planet, as there's always a Disney park open somewhere in the world. But none are as special as the original, Walt's original Magic Kingdom.
Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. Thank you.
Let's take a look around. There's the City Hall, quaint and dignified with its post office, the place where the citizens of the town gather to exchange gossip and hear the latest news of the day. Fire station, that's a special interest of the Volunteer Bucket Brigade, whose horse-drawn engine and up-to-date hose and chemical wagon are a source of real local pride. Then there's the car barn housing the horse-drawn streetcar, a great boon to speedy transportation, and that little old streetcar will be going up and down Main Street here in Disneyland about every 10 or 15 minutes, day in and day out. There's the Emporium, where a lady could buy Lyle stockings or a silver button hook. Main Street, USA, and every one of those buildings is 5/8 real size. The doorways, of course, and the windows are full size, but the buildings themselves are 5/8. The town square is where the band holds forth, and those free band concerts were one of the big social highlights of the week, any week. Or the Grand Opera House, where a Jenny Lind or a Chautauqua lecture might take place.
Now, right over here is the Candy Palace. Now, that's probably where Grandma got those licorice whips and the jujubes. And, of course, right next door to the left is the Penny Arcade, which is complete with all sorts of shooting galleries and kinetoscopes. And, of course, there's the bake shop. And then there's the jams and jelly stores. Old Grandma certainly loved those tarts and those rich ladyfingers. Of course, on the corner is the ice cream store. I guess next to Mary and Grandpa, the biggest thrill she ever had. Here he is, there, right in front of the Swift Market House. That's where all of us ham actors will originally wind up. And say, if you can pan your camera down here a little further, here is one of the most famous motion picture theaters in the world that'll be here at Disneyland. They run exactly six silent motion pictures at once at the theater.
Even though time passes, the traditions of Disneyland remain stuck in time, from the very first American flag raised over the park to the last one that came down today. In between the sunsets, Disneyland is a Groundhog Day of nostalgia, a trusted friend that's always there when you need it.
See very soon. Directly to your right is Frontierland and the Old West. And directly to your right and slightly forward is Adventureland. Now, of course, all the segments of this wonderful parade and their casts are now breaking up, and they're going to the various sections of Disneyland. Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Adventureland, and Frontierland, as I told you.
Frontierland. It is here that we experience the story of our country's past. The color, romance, and drama of frontier America as it developed from wilderness trails to roads, riverboats, railroads, and civilization. A tribute to the faith, courage, and ingenuity of our hardy pioneers who blazed the trails and made this progress possible.
Conestoga wagons, riders and all off the big Main Street parade. They're going on into the stagecoach country. Yes, sir, there's little Annie Oakley, and there are the special horses, 5/8 size, bred by Walt Disney.
Today, Frontierland may be a path that you take to get over to New Orleans Square, Splash Mountain, or Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Still, before it was a hallway, it was a destination to celebrate the frontier's hard living.
All about Pecos Bill. So come on, let's go inside and see what's happening, huh?
Well, looky there. Same opening day light fixtures, still shining down on the Golden Horseshoe.
Well, I tell you, Slewfoot Sue boasts the longest little bar in the entire wide world.
Frontierland's main attraction was the Mark Twain. Back in '55, people didn't travel like they do today. For many California residents, this was their first steamboat ride through an exotic plot of land, unlike the desert of the West.
Well, now, Miss Dunn, you're holding a very special bottle here in your arms.
Yes, I am, Walt. You see, this bottle contains waters from all the leading rivers in America.
Brought here from all these towns by the great rivers.
That's right. So with these precious waters, I'm going to christen this boat the Mark Twain.
And there the boat is christened, and it starts on its daily trips up and down the rivers of the world, of America, that is. Thank you, Miss Dunn.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I've got other places to go, and the Commodore, Admiral Joe Fowler, up there in the wheelhouse, looks like they're getting ready to shove off, so I better... Goodbye, Irene. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good ride. There goes the whistle. Take her away, Admiral. Goodbye. Have a good trip.
Simpler times and simpler pleasures, but as Disneyland continues to grow into the future, it keeps one foot back in the past. Part history lesson, part nostalgia, but completely escapism at the same time. On the backside of the rivers of America, it's hard to believe you're still in Anaheim and that your car is parked just over the ridge where the Disneyland Railroad just passed you by.
I have a wonderful view of the Mark Twain as she gets ready to start on her maiden voyage.
To the young citizens of Disneyland, it's real. To the old, it's a really nice escape. Knowing on opening day that none other than Admiral Joe Fowler was at the helm, while Ronald Reagan stood on the shores, illustrates the rich history of Disneyland. And nearly everything you have done there, so too has one of your heroes.
Thanks, Bob. This is the Western Railway Station, and this is the CK Holiday, the Disneyland Freight. And it's on its way now, leaving Frontierland and going 100 years into the future to Tomorrowland.
1 minute from now, Walt Disney will present a preview of Tomorrowland and the fascinating world of the future in the year 1986.
Welcome to 1986 plus 36.
Those doves are, ladies and gentlemen, I hope, the harbingers of peace for the world of tomorrow. And now, here in Disneyland, perhaps this 70-foot model of a rocket-powered ship. Further out, just beyond here, next to Tomorrowland, is Autotopia, and that's the superhighway of the future.
Anyone who is bold enough to try and predict the future is someone who's probably crazy enough to do so. Walt Disney, out of time and out of money, did his best to put together a land that would show America where he thought it was heading. If you look at Disneyland from the west to the east, or as we read in America, from left to right, the park existed as a timeline of society, starting from the past in Frontierland, stepping into the present in Main Street, and moving into the future in Tomorrowland. Autopia would be a shining example of a highway system that Eisenhower would make a law just 1 year later. And oh yeah, years later, America would go to that moon. Tomorrowland illustrated how Walt Disney was the change that he wanted to see in the world, a personality trait we can all learn from and live by.
Well, Walt, it seems to me we've been everywhere, haven't we?
Well, I hope so. I don't know.
Say, haven't we missed something?
Seems like it.
A whole land?
Adventureland.
Oh, that's my favorite. Let's go over there. Bob Cummings or somebody. Yes, a visit by boat to remote and adventurous regions of the world.
Experience a slice of life as it exists in the paradise of the Pacific. On an African trading post, the spearhead of civilization in those primitive lands. Now, we're all loaded up, I believe. Thank you, Captain. You can take her off. We're ready for a ride down the tropical waterways of the world.
Walt's dream was to make Disneyland for the entire family, and Adventureland skewed more to the adults, allowing folks to take the vacation they'd always dreamed of, escaping to somewhere exotic and foreign, while floating through the Nile around the islands of Manhattan and Catalina. Walt Disney won most of his Emmys for Disney's documentaries about wildlife. If Frontierland represented television and Fantasyland the animated films, Adventureland was where you could live out the award-winning nature documentaries. Over the years, Walt's Little Jungle actually grew into a real one.
Well, folks, this has been but a brief glimpse into this marvelous, marvelous network of Adventureland. But we haven't time now. We've got to take you back to see how the rest of the visitors at Disneyland are doing. So I take you back now to Dick Wesson. Take it over, friend.
Fantasyland? Well, this is really the theme symbol of the whole Disneyland and the thing nearest and dearest to Walt Disney's heart.
And now the plaque reserved for last. A few words of dedication for the happiest kingdom of them all, Fantasyland. Here is a world of imagination, hopes, and dreams. In this timeless land of enchantment, the age of chivalry, magic, and make-believe are reborn, and fairy tales come true. Fantasyland is dedicated to the young and the young in heart, to those who believe that when you wish upon a star, your dreams do come true.
Open the Fantasyland Castle in the name of the children of the world.
Walt Disney dreamed of a better tomorrow while also creating a place that celebrated yesterday. Knowing that we are only as good as the lessons we have learned, and more importantly, how we apply those lessons to our future. Walt's dream has come true around 24,000 times now. As for that many days and more to come, people will walk through the front gate and escape, creating memories that will last a lifetime, and all inside of his dream. What I think we can learn from Disneyland and its sculptor is there's always a better way to do things. It's not always the easy way, but there's always a better way. Details matter because people will notice them. And dreams aren't accidents. They are hard work and they will break you. But a real dream is one where you're willing to give up everything because the dream matters that much to you. Ultimately, Walt's dream came true because he made it come true. And I love Disneyland because it nourishes my creativity and is a living example that if you can dream it, you can build it. Often those that follow their dreams are the ones that make them come true, and those that think they can change the world are often the ones that do.
No more children. There they go. Goodbye, kids. to go out across the trestles and over the hills and by the canal. Look, there are two of them up there, cutting over the many grades and many curves. And in the canals go the various boats. Walt, you've made a bum out of Barnum today, but we've got to go.
I know, but I just want to say a word of thanks to all the artists, the workers, and everybody that helped make this dream come true.
Let's go into Fantasyland and have some fun.
Let's go.
Goodbye, folks.